Hey, Don! Bum, 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 bum. All right, time to put my noisemakers down. Actually, I'd wanted to start the broadcast with this guy over here. Like, hello and welcome to my tiki domain. And unfortunately, he's kind of tall. You can't see that. Let me get my little friend over here. Hello. Ah, yes. Alas, poor Herman. We knew him well. This was originally called the Clue Bat, and if you've ever worked an event where you need to demonstrate such things and the usage of such, then you know why it's there. But I'll just put this guy to the side there, which is kind of fun. So good to see you tonight. Hello, folks. Hello, everybody. Just a note to self. Hey, I got you. Very good. Anybody watching the rebroadcast, hello. That's a note from my StreamYard function, because I forget that sometimes. But you might be watching this 5 days from now. I don't know. You might be watching it 24 hours from now. So glad to see you. Let's catch up. We've also got we've got Miss Velveteen is watching too. Okay, and we have Julie. The Feel Better Wednesday. Oh man, there are any number of Wednesdays I could name which I would like to say Feel Better Wednesday. Yeah. And some of you are like, yeah, like have another Mai Tai. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't hurt necessarily, unless you've had 5 Mai Tais, But if you've had 0 Mai Tais, I think one's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Kelly, hello, hello. And Linda's chiming in. So glad to see you this early. And I know that sometimes you have trouble finding this. I hope that has improved. These services change stuff. They change stuff on us. We don't know how to get live. You saw us last year. It was like, But, check it with your YouTubes and your Facebooks, because, like, stupid things go happening, whatever. Suddenly you didn't get that reminder. You don't even know we're live anymore, which is ridiculous. I am actually... Let me put a number on that. We'd like to have our cocktails to taste 73% better. I suspect I feel something like 65% better. Because like on Monday, I was down for the count, supine, on the gurney, like take me away, Calgon take me away, hospital take me away. It was like, oh man, talk about your 0 energy, couldn't give anything down, so couldn't get any energy. What the hell am I gonna do? Finally managed to get a little apple juice to work, so like a minuscule, like a molecule of sugar did its work there, and yippee, wow, big fun. And then the next day, it's like, I started working, I had a couple cups of tea, and I was like, okay, we can do this. And, did my usual, like, remote working. Actually, usually I'm in Manhattan on a Tuesday, but I remote worked, and it was fine. End of the day, I was out, like, revising the tool shed out back. So I guess it was pretty good. Today, I'm like, So it's just, like, energy's very low. And the weather is just, like, all rainy. It's very cool. So it's not like, big super, sunny June day to get you out of there. But we're still tail end of what am I thinking of? Tail end of spring here, folks. So we're finally getting out of there. Let me scroll back here, make sure I catch everybody. I know I've been yakking. Pardon me. Oh yeah, we'll miss you folks too, Kelly and Pete, absolutely. And I hope to see you next year. Big cross on that. Things change, things happen. Meh. I mean, things happened to me Monday, things happened to her yesterday. Meh. So, blah 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 blah. But absolutely, she says thanks for that. Let's see. Kelly is out because she very likely picked up what I had on Monday, which is very likely some bug. We're going to call it bacteria. We're going to call it virus. You see, the brain is still slow. It's got one of those tiny little things that kind of knocked me out. I can't even name it. It seems to have worked its way out of the system because food is staying down now. Thank you very much. But she's going to pick that up, and no fun. Big no fun. Hi, Lisa. There we go. And thank you very much. And you know what? You feel bad, get out of your system, feel better. That's the thing I'd like to think about. Is this just like, this is the virus, move it out. You know the rules of these such things. Don't drink anything unless you need to knock yourself out with some, NyQuil or something, which is purportedly okay. And there's that whole feed a cold, starve a fever thing. I think that's a bit overrated. Like, if you have a fever, you should actually have sustenance, I've heard, and like the old chicken soup or what. The problem is that you feel nauseous, can't keep anything down. But, the carbonated beverage is very good. I happen to have a water right here, which I'm going to start drinking because I'm very dry. Tiak would tell you. Let's see. Hello, Alan and Elizabeth. Woohoo! Oh, geez. Yeah, if you could, can you fax me that soup, Eric? That'd be awesome. Hi, Peter. And aloha indeed to you, Sir Al. Oh, we are definitely in the tiki room again today. I'm working solo for not the first time ever, but totally solo for the first time ever. Yeah, we are not ordinarily just this completely out of it, and we're out and about, pick something up. That's what happens when you see people. Yeah. Well, move it out, keep it on, boom, boom, boom. But definitely ready for Ohana. Yeah. No! Yeah, well, no, we're actually kind of half and half. I mean, we're taking care of some things, and frankly, we get our Sunday back, so we will be able to take care of some business on the weekend, which is good. And frankly, when I say, like, while I was working on that shit out back, I'm trying to do that for 6 months because, like, the floor was all rotten. I wanted to completely replace what was holding it up, and it's totally solid now. And it's like, yeah, it's a different state of mind when your tools are in the right place. You know what I mean? That's a thing. Hello, Lisa. Yep. And hello, Terry. Cabo San Lucas. Oh, gonna say, give you a little bit of that action there. Yowza. Bet you're experiencing something nice, but I don't know. I'd have to look it up. Because right now, at our area, you'd say, well, you guys have to be having mid-70s or something. And more like mid-60s today. It's because we had some pretty heavy cloud cover. Probably some residue from that business we had last week, which really did sock it to the East Coast. And it worked its way all the way down. It's like it was terrible in the big city, and then it was terrible in Baltimore. It's like, oh man, sorry guys, but we didn't send it, and that's just weather patterns. Ginger ale, yeah, exactly. I was looking earlier to try to find ginger ale at the supermarket with sugar, because she's like, well, I really need a little, a little sustenance, a little, little sucrose going on there, and they all have that fakey sugar. I'm like, oh man, plenty of these brands on there. Pardon me, see? Plenty of these brands on the shelf, and they're all like HFCS. Meh. And I couldn't find like a decent local bottle or Boylan's or something like that. And I know they make one. Why the hell don't you carry this stuff? Zilch. Finally, she clues me in. Check out like lemon lime soda. Betty Buzz. We were featuring Betty Buzz recently with some G&T. Their tonic is excellent. Finally seeing their product on our shelves. We got a recommendation on them from a few people. And they have an excellent lemon lime. You try it and you're like, it's not that sweet. It's like, it's got like a really good balance. It's plenty sweet, really good balance. Very nice. And, Errol and or Lisa. I'm not sure I'm talking to right now. But from YouTube there, absolutely. The simple fact is, and this was a principle that was handed down by my grandparents. At least I remember my mother saying that her mother always said, gotta go to work. You gotta go to work. I remember a story from my uncle where he'd like trucked down to the island to see his girlfriend, later his wife, trucks back to Rhode Island, and this is back when it was all like Route 1 or something, so that he gets in at 3 a.m. And we see him in the morning, he's like, his mother's like, gotta go to work. And I'm like, I've done it. I don't know what the hell is running on. I don't recommend running on that for more than a day or so. It's pretty bad. And after you're done with that, you better get some good sleep. Oh, geez, Julie, I've heard described this to people and they say sounds like Noro. I'm like, oh wow, and that's what goes on cruise ships. Man, can I get a shot or something? Because I wouldn't mind taking a cruise sometime, but forget it. Jeez, people. Yes, there's. You're right. She's way ahead of me because she's commenting here. So I'm talking about the stuff that was like 5 minutes ago. Yeah, shorter duration is a good thing. This was kind of a 24-hour thing, but about 4 a.m. I'm like, oh man, I don't feel well, and then it just kind of it did things that I don't need to describe here. You know it. You've had it. Boom, boom, boom. But cool down there in Pittsburgh, baby. Yeah, I would expect that considering the regionals. It's would you say had a lot of cloud cover. Real swell day though. I went out earlier. It was kind of warm. Oh, great. The clouds over. It was rain half the day. Whatever. Plants need it. It's good. It's good. Yeah, the automatic, and then of course you can kind of crank it with the old artificial energy. There's good bird song about that. Really nasty song. I like the song a lot, but it's a really nasty song. And the fact is, if you do actually push it with the fake energy, you will end up in bad shape, man. So I don't like to do that. When we do these events, I'm going for 4 days straight with 4 hours of sleep, and then I'm like, hi guys. And I kind of feel like I do now. So disrecommended. Hey Bill, awesome to see you. Awesome to see you, folks. Glad you can talk amongst yourselves. And you know what? I am 10 minutes in, and I suppose it would not be unusual at all for me to be yakking for 10 minutes on a typical broadcast. And what's in my hand? What's in my hand? Anybody? And have this actually be the case, and be like, yeah, whatever. But 10 minutes in, I'm going solo. I got to get something. I actually was thinking, what can I do that's going to be simple and where I don't forget stuff? And if I forget stuff, it's probably not a big deal. How about an Aperol Spritz? I happen to have that. And you know what? That's a real classic. Now, the only thing I'm going to do is switch up the glassware because I want to feature some Trader Vic glassware. Because I'm in the tiki room. As far as I know, and I hope they're not just out of stock, that Vic still has these. It's a 3-pack of glasses. They are chimney style. Perfect for zombies, but also pretty ideal for something like a Ramos Gin Fizz, which we frequently serve in these things for breakfast. It's a great thing. It's a breakfast drink. But for Sunday, you know, it's almost noon, right? Think about it. So we're going to make that up. Normally this would be made in a wine glass. We've made this very successfully many times. And the Glendora wine glass, still available. Who would like to support the show, I recommend that you do that in person because shipping is a... You know what to fill in blank. So let's go. Let me get some cubes in there. Fill your glass. You can use crushed or just some cubes. It's fine. That looks good. And I think this normally calls for. Well, I don't need to figure it out. Read the bottle. Aperol will tell you what to put into Aperol Spritz. It's their major thing. Okay. And it's like glass plus. Oh yeah, there's the proportions they got there. Perfect. Prosecco, Aperol, soda. Boom. For some strange reason, this says soda and Prosecco. I don't know. I had a little Prosecco left over. I'm using it. This is going to be about a shot worth of the Aperol. I want to control that pretty carefully to make sure that gets where I want it to. Boop. Put that down there. As it turns out, my placement of my aux table is kind of perfect, isn't it? You can't see it, but it's kind of great. I'd have to turn that for you to see that. Throw me a little bit of Prosecco. That should fill this up to be about the same level there. And I'm killing the Prosecco. There wasn't much left, you know. Good stuff. This is the Tutela. We can usually find this for about 10 or 12 a bottle. Recommended. Good product. And I don't recommend spending a lot of money on Prosecco unless you get something really fancy. Because we've actually done the taste test with the champagne and we're like, yeah. So 10 is a sweet spot with me, really. And then give it a splash of soda. Let me be careful. This is a new bottle. I'm literally using club soda. See? See? Boom, boom, boom. Make a big mess on the air, will you? Thanks. Thanks a lot. Nothing like getting wet on the air, right? It says a splash of soda. I'm going to give it like boom, boom. There you go. I think that's just to dilute it slightly, probably to take the sweetness down. That's the whole idea. Normally you decorate this with an orange wheel, and you know what? I kind of do have oranges, and I totally forgot about that. But I happen to have, do I have them right here? Yes, and wine wedges. And I know it's a completely different base, but I'm going to squeeze a little and toss it in. Boom. Trader Vic paddle goes in there. I had one of these in the family for years that my mother got when my father proposed to her at Trader Vic's. Isn't that just sweet? I love that story. That's why I tell it a lot. Gives us a bit of a stir. This is a repro that actually happened just maybe within the past 10 years. Vic finally reproed these. I'm like, it's about time, although it's really cool to have a completely unique battle. Yeah. Yeah. Tall, cool one. I was looking for just like something tall, cool, easy, start us off, lasts a while, don't run out, and there you go. Backing up for a second to make sure to miss people here who are chiming in. And look at this crowd. We announced it. It's like we're running on 50%, and you'll show up. You see, that's why I show up. You know, show must go on. There you go. Da 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 da. Boom, boom, boom. Little showbiz, folks. Let's see. Backing up, backing up, backing up, backing up, backing up. You know, it's great when you actually go to work and it's just like, yeah, I'm really down for the count. Some years ago, I had a job holding boom, and this got to go back 30 years for a production. It was a commercial, as a matter of fact, a commercial featuring Bob Vila. Funny story about that later. But day before the thing, I start feeling like, and I call my guy, my sound guy. I'm like, I don't feel so well. He's like, you got a show. So I'm like, okay. He's just like, Jay, burn it out. So I just did my best to get rid of it. In the morning, I was just hammered crap. To use the words of a noted scholar, Kristen Bronner. And I was like, wow, it's just flu. And there I'm like showing up on set, influenza for freak's sake. But there I was on a ladder, and I'm like holding, yeah, hi. It's always great when you're like woozy and you're on a 20-foot ladder. Hi, guys. And I did the damn job, and I got paid. So I know what it's like. Now, these days, I work for a company that says, stay home when you're ill. Now, that's a pretty good policy with a big office, right? Anyway. Yeah, and, a few sympathy points here and there. Not a big deal. Oh, man. Yeah, I hear these things. And hello, Phil! Flaps in the house! Woohoo! Yay. But definitely. Oh, yeah, I'm telling you. Absolutely, Eric. Absolutely. Hello, Julie. I believe we see you in a matter of days, like a week and some change, perhaps. I hope so. If not, we'll see you the next time. But if so, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. This is the sort of like the prelude. I just like to push that U when I say that. To Ohana! All of you Ohanites know what I'm talking about. All of you who are like, what's that again? Yeah, that's the big thing that happens in upstate New York. That will be happening at the Tiki. I love how it's the Tiki, Are there any other Tiki? No. This is the probably the last remaining like dedicated Tiki resort hotel. There used to be a lot of these things, and I think like even Crown Plaza in San Diego like took out a lot of their stuff. And I don't even know what they look like now because we haven't been there in like 8 years. It was very cool when we were there. It used to be cooler, but this joint still has its stuff. Still has its idols, still has its torches. The torches don't work. Still has like a lot of paintings on the wall, a lot of Whitco, and still has the Paradise Lounge. The Paradise Lounge is so cool. It looks like more fun than this. Although I know that you all would all love to be here. Pardon me, right now with me right now, I would love to have you here. Paradise is great because when our gang shows up, they're like, here's like 20 kegs of brew, and you're going to like serve them like this. And those are the drinks that are being served. Actually, it's probably more like 7 different drinks that are being served. But they're all pre-batched or pre-mixed. It's like, put the booze in like this. Here's the pre-mix, boom, done. Ice it up and go. And they can really move them fast, like a Steve Crane like style of speed, which is cool. And the place has great decor. It's just so cool. Outside of the event, it's kind of like they don't really serve these drinks. I think you can get a pretty mean margarita anyway. But it's a great place to see no matter what. But definitely, we love you too. All right, put that down for a moment and check out some comments. Fence lines. Oh, wow. I hear that. What the hell was I doing the other day that was repetitive, and I was just like, ah. Well, we worked a couple of carnivals on the weekend, which is very plausibly where we picked something up. And the one on Saturday was I did the balloon toss. I think she was doing the whack-em cats. I love the fact that there's whack-em cats. And the balloon toss is like the balloons are up in this big frame, and behind each one of them is a nail. I got to keep my finger. It's a balloon nail. You hit the balloon with a beanbag, pop, right? So you set all this stuff up. You have like 30 balloons, whatever, and give them 3 beanbags, and you realize pretty quickly it's not that hard for them to hit one balloon. So you have to keep blowing up balloons all day, and you got this like hand pump, and you're like, balloon on, tie it. End of day, it's like I got this like burn right here from the rubber, and then like this joint is like, forget you, pal, and right here. So like right here, right where I was using it. Damn. It's like where's that machine that does this with helium or something? But that was pretty heavy. So these things you find out. I will say that the crowd was great. I mean, the crowd in one case was a union's party, and the crowd in the other case was a kids' party, and kids were great. The kids were just great, So. A lot of fun. They had a lot of them were playing to play. Like, I don't need prizes. After a couple of prizes, like, I'm good. I love that attitude. They learn that it's about the game, and the prize you win may be a tchotchke. If you play well, if you do this properly, you put it together right, it's like that's it. That's part of the experience. Julie's in. Woohoo! Still catching up here, folks. 4 minutes behind. Room crawl planning. Oh, I think I've heard something about that. Yeah. Oh boy. I'm going to look at this and say, yeah, because I think I saw. If I get the right room, I could be wrong. Yeah. If it's what I'm thinking, I'm like, wow. This is going to be fascinating. This is going to be fascinating. Bingo, bingo. Oh, cool. So you got at least they have the port starboard glasses. Those are a lot of fun. There is a drink that goes in each called the port light and the starboard light, and we can get that information to you. If you have any information that tells you what's in that, I would not go vintage on the drink because it used to be a horrible drink, but you revised them so that port light and starboard light are actually really good. So there's a lot of fun, and the glasses are cool. You know, they still sell the shotgun shells, so they're ceramic now; they're not glass, and that you can get the gun club punch in those. I know there's a real sort of implication behind that, but guy was a hunter, whatever. And the drink is good, you know, and you get this big shotgun shell, fun, big fun. Somebody has reproduced that. We have a shotgun shell back here from somebody else, which I probably can't see and finger to pull it out and tell you all about. Anyway, one of these days I'll figure out who else has actually done a shell, which was also ceramic, which is kind of nice. Peter's in the spirit. We'll get you there, Peter, one of these days. Radioactive will be at the first. Woohoo! All right, so make sure you come up to us and say, "Hi, I'm Radioactive Tiki." I'll go, "Oh, duh," because I'm going to be seeing. Literally, we're at 600, I think and that is actually less than like bands and peripherals. So you may be talking like 650 people on the ground there, which for the footprint is a lot of people, and literally twice what you used to have. It's literally grown 100% over the course of, do the math here, 14 years? Yeah. Wow. Been a lot of Ohana. We've been to all except one. Anybody who can name the one wins a prize. I'll see you at Ohana and get you your prize. Yeah, cool. Yeah, very cool. Vicks, you can take a look at their entire line. They've got some great product for sale. They're the Martini style glass is glass with a ceramic base. It's kind of a Martiki type. There was a Martiki brand that is off the market now, but Vicks still makes them. And that's what you have, like your daiquiri or something, and you're like, oh, it's a tropical drink. That's what you want to have it in, you know. Or if you just feel like, well, I'm in my tiki room or I'm in a tropical place, I want to have my martini, but I want it to have more pizzazz. Bang, that's the one. Very cool. Dime, anytime. Yeah. Throw me onto that. If you have my existing email, that will be changing, and I have activated the new mail, but I'm not exactly checking it yet. You can always messenger me to make sure we get on the thing, because it's probably better to do that in a mail situation. Unless you have a messenger group, then just add me to that, and that's fine. I'm available in many of these places. I check all of them with regularity, except my junk email, which I don't give to anybody because it's junk email. So, and I check that as much as I can. Oh yeah, seriously. You could see the funny thing was the kids who were doing. I was running the fishing game on the second day. The kids who were trying to get all 4 colors of the fish. Because once I suggested, I said, "You want to get all 4 colors?" They were like, "Yeah!" And they were just like, "Bang!" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I gotta get yellow." It's just intense. And, you know, they just wanted to make that happen. And I was just encouraging. I was saying, you know, you got it. Take slow and steady. You got it. And they picked it up. You know, some of them were a little more on the ball than others. That's kids. Bum wine challenge. Peter, when we get you to Ohana, we'll be running the beer. You'll be running the bum wine. Man, what could you run these days? You've still got Wild Irish Rose, MD. I believe T-Bird is on the market. I haven't seen it in a long time. That's only 3. We really need a 4th. And I'm trying to think of what's the classic that's still available. You cannot get Ripple. There's a product called Ripple out there. It's not bum wine. Wow. But, you know, Morgan David is still making their product. Manischewitz is still making their product. And I'm trying to think of, is Night Train still around? That'd be 4. That'd be 4 right there. There you go. That's all you need. Try them and see, The thing is, you got to be careful because if you actually serve the MD blue, it says like, oh, it's MD. That's the only one that's blue. It would completely throw people. It's a tell. You can't have a tell going on. Messenger, Facebook Messenger. Yeah, you can do that one. That's fine. If you're not on that at all, if you have issues with Facebook, yeah, I know some people do. And since you are coming from YouTube, maybe, drop me a personal here. We'll figure it out. Not a big deal. Google's, I guess I could pick up on that because I do have Gmail. I just set up a new Gmail account that will be strict to 100% replace my Velveteen Lounge mail account. We're decommissioning that because, well, it's kind of no point anymore. Everybody uses Gmail, and we're paying a lot for personalized mail that nobody cares about. That's basically that. So we actually announced our Velveteen Lounge mail on the air recently, and then realized is very soon. So now we have to change it. So we'll drop that on you too, so that you simply got it. I mean, you can always send me mail. I try to keep that separate from like business accounts so that I can always find things where I need them. And I keep the junk off of there so that I'm not clogged with stuff because then I would never see your messages. It would all be offers for timeshares. Ain't got no time for that. So anyway, but definitely. Diamond red is fortified. Oh, big fun. That should be available in a flask size, and you should be able to put that into a suitcase, if you know what I'm saying. I would try it. I'm not going to say I'd finish it, but I'd try it. Okay. So let's see. Oh, question from Lisa. Kelly and I had a drink out of every tiki mug behind us on the wall. Probably. And I'll say that because most of these were items that we had that we got from a restaurant that had the mug. So we had the drink in the mug, and then they're like, "Would you like to buy the mug?" Yeah, sure. Now, literally, we would not have consumed something out of this Forbidden Island. What is this? Light. It's a float. This is actually a glass float. Out of the float, this would have been a replacement float in a box, but we had something in that. What did we have in that? I don't know. We have something good. It was Forbidden Island, they're all great. But chances are excellent that we've had out of everything except potentially this guy. Here I am, I'm mirrored, so this guy right here was actually just something we bought at Trader Mort's, I think it was. Yeah, Trader Mort's in San Diego. They had a limited run of these. We actually got there in time and got one of these babies. They were not particularly cheap, but we said, oh, what the hell, we're here. It was a Tiki Oasis event, and took it home. And that never had a drink in it, and maybe it needs one. So we'll think about it, but yeah. But the rest of them, yeah, I think that, and occasionally, if I'm making things in here and I need a skull for a shrunken skull or something, I'll pull something from the shelf. It's like, I know there's kind of collectible and all that, and it's like, yeah, well, if they just sit there gathering dust, then you have a very dusty collection, and they do gather dust. They do. When I pull one from the shelf, it's like rinse, pull, and watch the dead hornets come out of there. Because you don't want to drink hornet juice. It's not good for you. But definitely, I love the fact that that's a thing. But they get washed. They get washed. But definitely. Wild Irish. Yeah, I'm reasonably sure that's on the shelf. I can just imagine that bottle with the rose on it. It kind of looks like a fancy whiskey bottle. Oh, this is nice. No, it's bum wine. That's what it is. Night Train, there's the 2, definitely MD, that's the 3, and if you get the T-Bird, bang, zoom, Peter, you're in business. Okay, thank you, Eric. We'll figure it out. There's many ways to get in touch with us, and I am not particularly invisible up on these. I don't hit the socials too much. I have an active Facebook account. I post heavily in December when I'm posting Christmas album covers. That's a thing. And I've also found over the years that I can post a lot of stuff and just like it doesn't even reach my base, my people. And I'm like, my friends don't even get my stuff. I'm like, One question for you right now. I guess you can hear me just fine because I'm on a different microphone. I got both of them set up and I can switch. We've had some issues with it, but the one in front of me sounded stronger, so I said, oh, let's go with that. And so if it sounds good, we're going with it. Robocalls on timeshares, as if Yeah, I'm going to take rando call and go like, yeah, I'll head down to Fort Lauderdale. Yeah, I'll buy your timeshare. Sure. What do I need to do? Do I need to send you $5,000 cash? Sure, transfer. What the hell, people? Let's tell you these things. BS, BS, BS. There are real timeshares. Brother and sister-in-law have like an excellent timeshare. If you ever wanted a timeshare, there are real companies to go with. And there's a lot of BS people. While they waste your time. Ah! I'm sharing your time by taking it up. If I could share the time I waste, I would do it with the timeshare people. Bingo. Bingo! Awesome. So cool to see you. I believe we will see you in very little time. That's why we're here in the room tonight. I'm running solo, if you haven't heard, because Kelly's down for the count. I was on Monday. Now she is. You know, that's not something you want to take turns on, and sometimes it happens that way. I am on the mend. I said earlier I'm about 65% better. I think I'm a good 67 with this guy right here. Aperol Spritz. It's fooling you because it's not an Aperol Spritz glass. It's not a wine glass. But it's a Trader Vic's glass, and it's really cool. So I'm going to display the Vic's name. Yeah. Far as I know, you can still get these on Vic's. They're really great chimneys. Great for your zombie. Great for your Collins. Just made a Collins recently on air with actual Old Tom gin. Great for your G&T, did I say? What am I thinking of really? Planter's Punch is a tall, cool one. And don't forget the Ramos Gin Fizz. It's a long prep on that drink, but not that long, really. It's good. Good brunch drink. Let's see. Share the time you waste. Oh yeah, if you get the flux. But here's the trick. You need to reverse the polarity. Once you got that, you're done. You're good. Totally good. Oh, you have the green floaty. Oh yeah. Yeah, they're really cool. I like when a restaurant says, I got a DOF, I've got a barrel, now what the hell can I do? And they figure out things. And I've seen some really interesting things. To my right, I'm mirrored over here, right? I'm looking at my left hand. To my right, behind me, no. It's very strange how that is. Okay, to my left behind me, I'm pointing right now carefully to Mr. Bally High, right at the corner there, who is from the Bally High, San Diego. Still available. You can go there, get the mug. Mr. Bally High is in front of the building, a large wooden carving, and the goof on the roof is on top of the building because he's on the roof. They still sell the Bally High and the goof mugs. I believe the goof mug, they never used to have a goof mug. They used to have a Bally High. But now Tiki Farms are doing a goof mug, and that's been through 2 iterations. The later one looks a lot more like the goof, but the earlier one looks like is a better mug, honestly. Personal opinion. Anyway, audio good. Excellent, excellent. Thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate that. So I guess it's not a bad microphone over there. We've been having issues with it when we were using it. We switched up cameras in, I guess, January, when the old system was really going down, and I really liked the old camera resolution more. However, you can't beat a broadcast that works. So there we go. Excellent, excellent. That's a good one. Thank you, Gettysburg. Boom, 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 boom. Sound is good. Excellent. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Linda. Oh, that's good to know, because I know that you're probably watching on a tablet, and I would expect the sound to be like, but it's good that it's coming through loud and clear. Very good. T-Bird. I had friends who in college would drink T-Bird. So I've actually had the product. I recall it having a distinct, very light wine, lighter fluid-esque quality to it. I think that was related to the fact that they took white wine, added some lemon juice, so basically it's WPLJ in a bottle, but then kicked up the octane so it wasn't so insipid. So it's just got a sort of like a little grain alcohol flavor to it. Num, 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 num. Delicious. One always hurts. Ha! That's a great story. Well, nobody expects timeshares. The simple fact is when you sit down, nobody expects the timeshare inquisition. But if you're going for the presentation, that's what you're going to get. Okay, Peter, talk about Tiki Farm. They just do mugs, and their selection is excellent. Last I checked, and they switch them up a lot. So if you see something behind me that says Tiki Farm, you wouldn't be able to tell from here, but I can check it. Then that might not be available anymore, but they are available online, tikifarm.com, and they do this. They're all over the place. They do all sorts of things, and they're basically trying to get like all of their obsessive collectors and say, "I got some for you," every 2 months, which is fun. Oh, earbuds will definitely help the whole thing. Oh wow, I'm going through vacuum tubes. Hello, isn't that kind of nice? Well, that's interesting because I actually switched to the camera that has the stereo microphones. So if I start moving around, chances are so does the sound in your speakers. Wow. Now, wasn't that a stereo test record just like in 4 seconds? Awesome. Ah, well, gentlemen, actually, we have a conversation going on, or you have a conversation going on that I could very well join, and we can start talking about software and hardware. It is entirely possible to get some excellent sound sans the vacuum tubes, but if you have them, they're a lot of fun. And you can actually turn down the heat in the winter. That's a big thing. Yeah, check it, Peter. They really have cool stuff. You will find some of their stuff. Well, you go back 15 years, we used to find their stuff in the thrifts around here. From time to time, we found like 2 mugs. And we would occasionally find stuff from like Hawaii Kai. I think we found a salt shaker once. One out of the set. And I was like, well, you can't do much with one, although you could fill it with, say, cinnamon, and then you got that for the decor, and that's a good thing to shake onto one of your tropicals. We've seen things that frequently do that. At Disney, that's the oa, where they have the bowl, and they have a little, like, pinch of cinnamon there. They light it, and then you take the cinnamon and go dash, 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 and it's like flames, fireworks. Hell of a lot of fun. We have that bowl, like, right there. Big fun. I would make it right now, but I would have to leave you for 20 minutes. That sounds disrecommendable. Not going to do that. Anyway. But so far I'm actually doing pretty well, which means that my spirits have lifted. Earlier I was like, I have no energy. I got to do this. But, and it's not like, hi guys, I'll just drag out a broadcast for you, whatever. I know, it's obligatory. It's like I wasn't feeling like I had the energy to do something that sounded any good. But, then I get here and like you're all here and like, you totally energize me. So good, which is great. Because I'm not here to give you a drag. It's not like, oh, wow, sympathy broadcast, blah, blah, blah. But, yeah. But the fact is, with you here, it just, energized, baby. Still enjoying the Aperol Spritz. Again, that is equal parts of the Aperol, the Prosecco. Give yourself a generous splash of seltzer. Give it a stir. Wine glass works over ice, or, like I've been using, a nice chimney glass, which is fun. It's a good thing. I'm going to space that out a bit so I've got some staying power. After all, I'm running solo tonight. You can actually see Ms. Velveteen on the comments because she is actually watching via the remote, from the remote location, because she had enough energy to do that. We're getting her there. We're getting her there very slowly, making sure that things do what they're supposed to do. Yeah, so true. Hey, Ken! Oh yeah, please. We're so glad we could see you. I was just commenting that this audience is actually keeping me going this evening because otherwise I might just turn in early. I was just like, I don't have a lot of energy today. I was just totally whacked on Monday. I was just out supine all day, and I was just like sleep, wake, and more often than not really sleeping because it was really kind of hurting to be in bed that much. But every time I got up, I'm like, I can't move, So, well, thank you. Much appreciated. Ohana catered. Here's the thing. The event itself doesn't do food as like what it provides outside of the dinner on Saturday. Saturday, you've got the pig roast and the luau. The luau is actually a little show. You have the professional dancers who are typically from Samoa, Hawaii. They're from the islands, various places, and they will put on like the very standard mid-century Polynesian show, and it's a lot of fun. Now, I mean, we've seen it for several years now, and they've got the dancers and the hula, and they get the guys playing, and they're excellent. And it's just whole family, and they all know each other. There used to be a show that happened in Chicopee, that place long gone, but it was like, oh, we know them too, And then people will dance. Well, they were doing it down at the Mai Kai, Fort Lauderdale. All related, right? Maikai is still coming back, although they have a consortium that has invested in them, so they will be back up and running. Those of you who are an entrepreneurial sort who would think, I'd love to own my own tiki bar, there's one for sale right now in New Jersey, the remaining one of the old school tiki joints, which is Lee's in Lyndhurst. Every time I take a train to go into the big city, I pass through Lyndhurst because that's where my train goes through. And you could literally hop off that train at Lyndhurst, walk a mile, bang, you're at Lee's. And it's a completely nondescript building. You go, wow. You walk in, it looks like this. Awesome. Been there since '73, I think. Something like that. Used to be two of them. They're now, you're down to one, and it used to be Lee's, Luau, and Chan's were the big three that we knew in our time. And then when you trucked over to Staten Island, haha, pretty sneaky, sis, you got to... Brain is very slow today. It'll come back to me. But that was your basic New Jersey tiki tour. Start in Staten Island, come back, and then work your way up towards Chan's, which is in Ridgefield, I think. I could be wrong about that. Ridge something. And Chan's closed a couple years ago. Wow. Luau was a victim of the pandemic. Wow. So now you're down to Lee's, which has managed to like kind of scrape it along. And I think at this point, it'd be awesome if somebody decides to buy the place, take 2 months to like, just clean up with Reno, clean the carpet, please, and then just install more tikis. The place looks awesome as is. So you could just use more of the same. And I think kicking the seat to the bar menu would not be a bad idea. That had been Luau back in the day when, we knew that the new owner took over. It was awesome. Chris did a great job. And, it just, circumstances really like sucked him in the jaw. It's too bad. Really, really too bad. Because he put great stuff on. He kept the menu, but just added. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Next drink up, let me finish this guy and I will tell you what the hell I'm doing. And then we go. The other thing about Ohana is that during the room crawl portion, happens Friday, you have bands that play and then people go and crawl. They crawl the rooms, that is a pub crawl in a hotel. And there's different sections of the hotel where people will do a theme room and serve drinks. And the themes are like, take my hat and throw it. It's just, what the hell happened there? The themes are all over the damn place. Crazy, crazy stuff. I've seen speakeasies. I've seen like speakeasies, it's hatched at speakeasies. Like, there's the secret room. Somebody did Wizard of Oz one year. We did the Poseidon Adventure one year where the whole room was upside down. That was hilarious, a long time ago. Glendora has shown up with Sid a couple of times and done her wine paradise and box wino. And the box wino, actually, if Kelly could drop the actual name of it, it's totally escaped me right now. But this year's Extra Deluxe will be there again, serving all three kinds of wine from boxes. Serve yourself, please, with snacks. So there's the food. But people will serve things like that during crawl, and then in the final wave of the crawl, suddenly there's like rice bowls and kebabs, whatever the hell people are doing. Occasionally, I can be coerced into doing some spam sliders, usually Saturday. So a lot of food kicks around, and then people will like side off to A&W and grab a dog or whatnot, and good things like that. I'm hoping that A&W has a fuller menu this time around because I want to have one of those oyster po' boys. No drinking for you. Oh, well, that's your mistake number one, Daniel. Anyway. Yeah, Glendora should have come in. I mean, what the hell? I called her and she's like, "Oh, not tonight, hon." Oh well, I can do it. I can do it. Oh yeah, Snake Killer's potions frequently featured snake root. Currently off the menu because it's considered to be like a bit toxic. Although a lot of ancient bitters really did do such stuff. Excellent. Marcel, you're going to Lee's. Excellent. Yeah, do it before they completely conk. It's for sale. They'll probably keep it going until, but who knows if the owners decide, yeah, well, we're just giving it up. Because I know that Chan's, I think, was on the block, but they just closed. And I think they had been intending to close for a while, and during pandemic, they just decided, yeah, we're out of here. They probably were thinking and frankly, every time we'd ever went in there, they were doing a hell of a lot of takeout. More than like in business, although we were frequently there at weird hours. But we also like did a couple of parties in the area, and they catered from Chance. It was like, no, that's the place. That's the place. They had the excellent poo-poos. Very true. Oh, that's a good idea there. Yeah, funny. Wednesday. Oh, yeah. Oh, because coming to Newark, you'll be like right there, like 20 minutes maybe. Not far. Fried rice room. Ooh, big fun. Otto's, as far as I know, is still going strong. They managed the pandemic by doing some takeout, and they did some occasional, I think, like barbecue on the sidewalk when things like cooled down a little bit. And then eventually they got to the point where they could have people back in the place, and they just kept rocking. Jet Island, thank you. Yep, yep, out of my brain. The speakeasy has happened a few times. There was one that was a WW2 room. You know what I'm talking about, Pilgrim? Yeah, and they actually had everybody was in uniform, and it was a little canteen kind of thing. And then they said, "Go through the door." And he went through the door, and that was the secret World War II room. And that was sort of like the radio room, and they had the fun drinking. I was like, "Whoa, man, what's this business all about?" Pardon me. Very cool. So, pardon me while I work through the fact that I'm still feeling like 67%, but we'll be good. We'll be perfectly fine. Oh, Film Arts actually, like name checking Manhattan Hi-Fi is returning. It was an actual official room the first time around several years back, and that was Dano just set up a hi-fi, and then decided to just serve Manhattans. So it was like Manhattans and hi-fi. And at the time he did sushi too. And then he did an actual speakeasy well out the back. And there was some guy. It was literally like he had the Clamo van, right? And you can open the door and close the door, and then open the door on the other side. So you can like get people in, close it up, and then let them through if they gave the password. And the guy running the password, whoa, he was tough. I tell you. Took a lot to get in there. But then you got like entertainment, and then there was a gal singer you might recognize. There was music, and there was old fashions. People loved that like nothing else. So I think he's got the finger on the pulse. But he's returning this year with the sort of like stealth version of hi-fi. It'll be there. But definitely, I like the one that's just kind of like this secret place, and then you get there. Oh, what's this? The extra classy wine and snack bar. Horan, now even classier. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. Otto's still there. Other NYC joints that are not old school that are still there. You got one. You had one job. You have one old school place still there. That's Jade Island, Staten Island. You want to get there? You're hopping on a ferry. You're hopping on a bus, or you're just going to drive over the damn bridge and pay a lot of money. Crazy. It's just in a strip mall. You're like, what the hell? But they're very cool. And they got like matchbooks and stuff. And last time we were there, the food was really good. So I appreciate the joint. It's good to be able to like get out of the way a little bit. And of all the places that I always thought, if you want a clubhouse around NYC that is like the most pain in the ass for everybody to get to, that would be Jade Island unless you live there. So I thought that's your place, man. So otherwise, you've got a lot of places these days that are doing tropical that are not necessarily tiki. I think there's an issue these days with some people looking at a lot of this decor and saying, well, isn't that kind of cultural appropriation? And in some cases, yeah, of course it is. In some cases, these artifacts were just heisted. If you take a look at what's in the Maikai, I don't know all the genuine things. How did they get there? I don't know. They have actual like giant tortoise shells. I don't think you can get that stuff these days. Probably a good idea. Maybe just make one out of fiberglass and call it good because it looks right. I mean, we worked with the Great Scenic last year to make Ellen Waits. He took stuff and made it look different. You can make it look any way you want. A lot of the stuff in here is not like sort of genuine furniture. This shelf behind me is lumber. The bamboo is bamboo. And we put that together just to store these mugs, and I just like tacked it and braced it. Been doing fine ever since. The bit behind me, all that rattan is shades. Just hung them up. That's the thing. A lot of these things are just make it work. The lamps in the corner, if I could just twist this around and show you, that was a trash can. That was a trash can. That was a lampshade. That's another trash can. This is an actual genuine Flintstone lamp. That's like one of those big particle lamps. I forget what the hell they're called. Big plastic ball lamps. And we have a lot of hanging floats and things. The ceiling in here, I wish I could just twist this up and not mess up my broadcast and show you. Ceiling in here is actually 2 bits of burlap that run the entire width of it. I got that from our friend Rugby Matt. no longer with us, another victim of the pandemic. And we kind of adopted the idea of taking the drink umbrellas and poking them through. So this is all drink umbrellas above my head. I really should just do the tour again. I think we've done it not for a long time. Should do the tour again for you because we're coming right into the season and it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. What else is in Manhattan that you could really call tropical? There were a couple of victims of pandemic, like East Village had Mother of Pearl, tiny little place, very cool, good food, good drinks. There was a hotel sort of theater district that had the Polynesian gone. The Polynesian. The Polynesian. I can see if I can twist this so you can actually see. It's impossible to see this carved in there. But yeah, stolen from the Polynesian. Yes, I'll admit that. I thought, when am I going to get back here? Next thing you know, they're out. Very cool place. Very well done. It was a lot of modern, kind of more explorers club than a lot of tiki. But I dig that too. And I think that Linda watching really digs that even more than tiki. Big cushy chairs, big libraries, like huge tomes, original copies of Kon-Tiki, stuff like that, tiny little ship models. That's kind of fun. Nautical. Nautical is where a lot of places are going these days. There's a place that is in Brooklyn, and our friend Joe took us there just in April. He was kind of sherped us into the joint, which is above Steakhouse. Steakhouse called Gage and Tollner. It looks like it's been there for 150 years. It has not. It's actually been there for about 4. But before then, it had been there for like 100 years. And then they went out of business in the early 2000s, and the space eventually became something like a Wendy's and then like a drugstore or something. And then eventually somebody just like finds the spaces on the market and says, you know what you ought to do? You ought to gut all this crap out and just make it a steakhouse again. And then you know what you ought to do? Go upstairs and build a nautical bar. So they did. So they did. Kelly, what's the bar called? Because that's escaping me too. Fiberglass swordfish. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we love that. There's very little that Kelly loves more than like a fiberglass fish, which is very cool. Recuperation room. Ohana needs that. There was like one year where Professor Pineapple had his recovery crawl room, and it was like bottles of water and Advil. I was like, that was kind of awesome. People need that kind of stuff. Box wines don't really last at this size either because Glendora drops them off and then she drinks it all. I tell you. Speakeasy place behind Nina's? Oh, wait a minute. Talk to me offline about that. Yeah, I almost remember that. That's funny. You got the joint that the mayor owns, which is actually a really good brew pub. I haven't been there in a long time, but it's very good. Nina's is now gone. It's too bad. We were there once. Very good food. But there's a new joint that's actually 3 doors down from them that is similar kind of cuisine, it looks like, and they're kind of rocking. And now we have 2, count them, brew pubs. We have 2, well, there's the brew pub that's literally the brew pub, and then there's the brewery that has a brew pub in front of it, unassociated, that serves a lot of their beer, which is cool. Absolutely, Ken. A fair amount of what we have in here is, well, trash. Could you have called it that when I found it? Yes, you could have called it that. But I pick up fun things. I used to find great stuff downtown Manhattan Financial District because Manhattanites throw away everything. You see like this entire leather couch. It's like a $5,000 couch. Can you put it on your truck? It's yours. It's hilarious. I used to find a fair amount of hi-fi, but then you can't put that out for the street anymore. Wow. But you can always find like old TVs and cut the cables. Absolutely, Linda. I'm telling you, I like that like nothing else. There's a place at Disney that is got an Adirondack theme at Disneyland. I don't know if World has it. I haven't been to World in a long time. I've been to Land a lot more. But Land has as their Adirondack hotel, which is it's very cool, and it just looks like exactly where we're about to go. And they'll serve you a mean Manhattan in that place, and you're just like big cushy chairs going like, oh yeah, this is where I am. This is it. Jeepney, I believe, is gone. Kelly, can you comment on that? I think you told me that that's out now. That was Marlowe's place for a long time, but I'm sure he had moved on from that, and I'm certain he's doing something else. Saw him on a broadcast during lockdown, as a matter of fact. He was looking good. I hope we see him this coming week. And they were cool too because they were a Filipino theme. They had gone. Sorry, it's too bad. Filipino theme. They had great Filipino food. That was the only place I've ever actually eaten intestines. Well, no, I guess I eat them when I have hot dogs with natural casing. It's true, but like actual, basically chitlins, Filipino chitlins, very chewy, very rich. Good bar food to soak up stuff. Absolutely true. Bleecker and Thompson. Oh yeah, Mai Tais at Suzu's. I remember. You go back. Oh wow, how long? Early '90s. There was a joint that was originally Cave Canem, Latin for Boy of the Dogs, and it was in its original incarnation a bathhouse, and then a gay bathhouse, and then it was a Chinese restaurant that I forget the name, but it was a Chinese restaurant. All the servers were drag queens, which is hilarious. When it was that in that incarnation, they actually had music, and they would do nights there, and I played in that space once. It was pretty hilarious. But behind them, they decided to open up a themed restaurant that was originally Waikiki Wally's, and that's got to go back to 2004 maybe, somewhere in that range. Open for several years, and then had a second incarnation as Wally's Pacific Catch, something like that. They decided to rebrand as Nautical, and it's like whatever. They were kind of on the way out. Last I saw them was around 2008, maybe, with Will and Monica came into town for a second, and we had a great time there. I believe we boosted a menu, which was good because the joint went out. You really shouldn't field collect, folks. You really shouldn't. But if the joint's on the way out, anyway, you can always ask. Ibuprofen actually has gotten me through many things. I have found that actually good old Alka-Seltzer, when I am like, oh man, I had too many, Alka will do the job. It's got the aspirin in the correct dose. I think it's got some caffeine, which definitely boosts the aspirin. That's the Excedrin idea, and also has the buffer, which is it's got a bicarb. It's got electrolytes. So there you go. It restores what your body needs, calms you down. Don't have another drink or anything. You'll be good. Lifetime supply. That's hilarious. Hilarious. And that's the thing. I remember picking up one on the street with a friend when we'd finished a rehearsal. This has got to be like 1993. Finished a rehearsal in the village late. We're driving around in his truck. He had one of those small light trucks that was probably a Toyota or something. And we see this thing on the curb. He's like, He pulls over. We take a look, and it was like a couch frame, really heavy duty couch frame, no cushions. And he's like, "You want it?" I'm like, "Load it in." Got it back to my apartment, and it wouldn't fit through the door. So went in, got tools, took the arm off, weaseled it in, took it out the back, and there it stayed when we left. So who knows? But definitely, Johnny! Awesome, thank you. I believe she's getting there. She's probably at the stage I was at this hour on Monday, where I was like, I can almost keep food where it's supposed to be, and I still have no energy because I haven't eaten all day. As of this moment, I'm feeling 73% better. And that's because I've had a little of this and because I'm on this broadcast with you. This has made the difference. I was like, I have no energy today. Man, I don't care. But like to get here, to have to talk, to do this properly, I'm like, I got some energy. And hey, people are just like totally thrown down in the comments like you usually do. So that's awesome. There's that thing about talk amongst yourselves. Good. It keeps it going because it's hard for me to get all these comments properly. But I will try to get to everybody. I want to acknowledge all of you. Do we see you next week, Johnny? Just asking. I'm asking all the Ohanaites, and I know that you are a frequent appearer. My thighs will get stiff because we work out, and all these workouts are all a ton of squats, down, and I'm like, oh man. That's just really killing me right there, and then it's really pushing the sacra. I got to watch out with that. So we do a lot of forward bends and stretches and yoga moves. It makes a big difference, no question. Yes, Lisa, that's exactly it. If you remember the version by Sammy Davis Jr., that's the classic. Thank you, Phil. Thank you so much. Absolutely. This is actually Johnny Carter, as a matter of fact. Johnny's coming from, okay, West Virginia or Kentucky. Set me straight right now because my brain is like, forget you, pal. And I knew it's one of those, baby. A way that you can actually like get yourself to Ohana without hopping on like huge transport. Bargain French wine challenge. Oh, there you go. Please, that's cool. Yeah, give me like the $8 special. Like, you know, this Bordeaux can't possibly be $8, Peter. Actually, it's excellent. You know. Yes. West. Oh, there we go. Son of a beach. West, for Christ's sake! You're in the West Virginia, my friend. All right, I got to do two things here. I'm going to make another drink, and I need an ingredient for that drink that needs to say frozen, so I'm going to need to retrieve it. However, it needs to say frozen, so it's going to be the part. The last thing I do, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do something I don't usually do, which is assemble in glass, and it'll work just fine. I wanted to keep it kind of simple, and I said, what have I done recently that was kind of fun, and I don't think we did it on air. And that was, well, we made Dole Whip. We made Dole Whip because I got the ice cream attachment for the Kitchenaid, and I start using this thing, and it's really cool. You just freeze the thing, freeze the bowl, stick it on, put the blender in, dash it, you throw in your mix, away you go. You can get yourself a great basic ice cream mix for the Ben & Jerry book. Works flawlessly. So it's kind of a frozen custard because it has the eggs, but you don't cook it. Real easy. Excellent ice cream. You can make any flavor you like, really. But it makes fantastic ices too. You can make a lemon ice in there that's like, this is almost as good as Dell's. This is just amazing. And I actually took a bottle of Dell's lemonade, the Dell's branded lemonade that you can get in New England, dunked that in there, made it. I'm like, this is pretty much spot on. That was pretty excellent. So just freeze the lemonade. That worked. That worked really, really well. I suspect you can get some great French reds for that price. I remember used to pick up the food section of the New York Times every week from the dump bin at the train station that I ended up at when I had to go and get myself to the financial district. And Wednesdays was food day, and I would always try to find that section. I didn't have to find a full paper because I wasn't reading the news. It was all bad. But I would read about food, and there was always a wine section. That was by Eric Asimov. I always thought that he was like son of Isaac. Wrong. Just another Asimov. But he's been running the wine and spirits column for years, and I was always thinking, what does he do? He gets his buddies together and like drinks 5 fabulous wines or spirits. How do I get to be his buddy? Yeah. Hey, Eric. Yeah, I'll be there. Sure. What do we got? Oh, we got like 5 new like American ryes. Cool. Oh, these all cost like $150. Cool. You know, that would be great. Love to be one of his buddies. But yeah, the mixer, the ice cream attachment is really cool, Lisa. So you'd love this if you want to make. And again, I say this because it's very important. You're like, oh, I'm lactose intolerant. This makes fabulous ice. This is like the best sorbet you've ever had. It is so fresh. You can put anything in there. You can say, I want to lighten it up. I want less sugar. Sure. I want to use a substitute. Sure. You're making an ice. You're freezing up ice. And this thing is so cold, you can make it and let it sit there, and it just stays frozen for something like an hour. It was like, you don't have to jump on it. Now, you have to get it out of there because you can't freeze it inside the bowl. You can't just put it inside the freezer. You got to get it into a container. But that's easy. Not a big deal. I've even taken it, cleaned it out, frozen it again, and then made a second batch, although you really should give it more time. Anyway. So what we're going to do here, since we're in the tiki room, you can make a Mai Tai. I thought about making something kind of funny. You can make the Don Beach Mai Tai, which is completely different, and honestly, it's not what you're expecting. It's not bad, but whatever. There is what was it? The Luau Mai Tai, I think it was, that I found in one of these books. Seven Safari. Oh yeah, wait a minute. I can take a look right now. I don't have to speculate. I can tell you. It tells you this is what it is. The Kontiki Mai Tai. Ah, yes. Which when you look at it, you say, that looks a hell of a lot more like a QB cooler. Potentially the drink that the Mai Tai is kind of based on. But the Mai Tai is simpler. And I said, screw all that. Let's just make the damn drink. I'm gonna channel Trader Rick. Make the goddamn drink. That's what he would do. So I happen to have a glass here. I happen to have the mint already. Yay! And check it out. It's the Ohana glass. It's the Ohana swizzle. Whoever can tell me which year this swizzle is, you get a prize. We're going to do the first things first and fill this sucker with ice. And I'll try to get the little beat up ice from the bottom here because dime-sized ice is a pretty good idea. Hear that, dime? We want your ice. Let's go. Okay. And you want to fill that pretty much full, but I'm going to leave just a little space at the top for reasons that I will make clear. Because I was talking about making ice cream, but what I really made was I made a couple of batches, then I said to Kelly, what do you want to make next? I'll leave it to you. And she said, I want to make Dole Whip. And I said, wait a minute, don't we still have some mix? And so I took a look, and I was like, we do. And it was getting a little up there in years, but I managed to cadge enough to make a batch, and we made it. And I was like, damn, but it tastes really good. So I got to say, even old mix was okay, although I really should get new. I believe that Daniel called this, and see me at Ohana, you get the prize. Boom, done. Awesome. Awesome. Too cool. Oh, yeah, there you go. See how memorable. How memorable. But definitely. So anyway, normally what you do, you could fill your glass like this, shake and pour. You could also, and I suppose I could just go and get a shaker. No, not gonna bother. And what I normally do is put everything in the glass, fill with the ice, then throw it in the Hamilton Beach, the shake maker, give it a buzz, because that's what Trader Vic's does. They got a whole stand of these things, and they're just like buzz, buzz, boom, 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 boom. But this will work fine if you give it a real hard stir. So first thing you want to do is get some lime juice in there. The actual Trader Vic formula states half a lime. What the hell's half a lime? I've seen limes the size of grapefruits. Well, probably about half an ounce. Your average lime will give that. I'm giving this about 3/4 because I'm putting a special ingredient in there. And I have just about exactly 3/4 of an ounce. Next, you want to throw down with some orgeat. We make our orgeat. That's why the label is all kind of messed up on this. And that's why this is, in fact, a St. James bottle. Haha. Orgeat is easy to make, not a big deal. It's an almond syrup, use real almond flavor, use a little orange flower water, boom, done. Half an ounce. It's really excellent orgeat. It will work really well in these. If you don't want to make it, there's some good brands on the market finally. If you can simply find the Tirani coffee syrup, that is the syrup made to flavor coffee, that's a great idea too. Half ounce of some orange liqueur. I am going with citronge because that's what we got. It's a good thing. I think the citronge could use a little goose in the flavor department. It's an excellent flavor, but it starts to get buried a little. So what I like to do is, you see, this is good for the most part, but then I have to really reach. Daddy long arms. Add some orange bitters. Get 2 dash. If I used like a really top shelf orange liqueur, like say your Marnier, I wouldn't use the bitters, wouldn't need to. So you get your 2 liqueurs, you get your lime juice, that's your base of your mixers. You want to add some of your base spirit. A lot of ways you can go here, but you know what? Brugal Añejo is a really nice way to go for an excellent price. I like a good party Mai Tai rum. Like, this is not your top shelf stuff. You're like, oh, gee, I don't know if I want to use that. Like, you would just drain this bottle at the party, everyone happy. Easy. It didn't cost you a mint. There are a lot of ways to go, too many ways to go with, Mai Tai rums these days. Anyway, so we're going to throw down with 2 ounces worth of this stuff. And that is an excellent, excellent thing. And you've already got a great drink. You're kind of done. Grab your Ohana 2017. Thank you, Daniel. Stir stick. Give it a good solid stir. We want to get this pretty cold. Again, normally I'd shake this to do it faster, or put it in the drink mixer to do it faster. And yeah, that's it. I have no other ways to make this. I would always use a lot of ice. You can make this as like, throw it into a cocktail glass and drink it. It would go down way too fast. Way too fast. Okay, apply straw. I've got this actual bombilla. This is a genuine Argentine bombilla from one of my co-workers. former coworker. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty excellent. That's nice and cool. Other thing I like to do, and some people will say, "What? Why do you do that sort of thing?" It's something that Vicks kind of does do, and that's add a little bitters, because I think that punches it too. So a little Angostura on the top there. I use the Angostura Orange to punch the orange flavor. Here is the standard Angostura, just to give it a little dimension in that. You see a lot of Don Beach drinks where he will add some mango and a little bit of Pernod. Or he would sometimes specify absinthe. It's like, well, he couldn't get absinthe in the 30s, so I don't know what the hell he's talking about. But he would definitely use the absinthe substitute. And just like a couple of drops, and you suddenly got one note in there. Gives it dimension. It's a good thing. Anyway, once again, slow cooking, excellent idea. We have both the slow cooker and the pressure cooker, and the pressure cooker that's the slow cooker. So many things. I've done a bunch of things with that, including make yogurt. It's good. Pardon me. Clearly, I need another one of these things. Now, we're good so far. But there's two more things that have to happen, if not three. And the first thing that needs to happen is I need to get the magic ingredient. Be right back. What's something that usually takes? Hello. A little tight in here, considering all ingredients. What do I have here? I have some of the Dole Whip, and that goes on top. I've been making these and topping this. I remember the first time we made it, we actually threw that on just as a variation, and it was really good. So I just like scraped some off, and I said, here we go. The consistency is a little more like shaved ice right now, but it would all taste the same. And I've been calling this the whip tie. Purists will be going, you can't do that. I'm like, yeah, talk to people who go to Disney and go and get the Dole Whip. What do you put in it? Sometimes, people, do you happen to have a nip bottle on you? No, I would never do that. But the whip has a lot of fun. It's like we really need to get a whip machine at Ohana and have somebody serving these up, and everyone's going to just like lose their minds. It's going to be just nuts. Just nuts. Okay, I'm trying to get all of this out. It actually got pretty frozen again when I stuck it in there. So I can get a nice layer of snow on top of this. Oh, and I got a little bit for myself. Good stuff. And the second thing that needs to happen, and final, is if I can pick this thing up, yeah. Apply Velveteen Lounge stir stick, because hey, fun. This was actually used in a quail room a long time ago too. And don't forget the mint. And now I can hide behind my forest. Here we go. I feel like I'm on like a Guy Fieri show where like they like, here you go, and he's like, so this is the Mai Tai, right? This is your one. You put the Dole Whip in it. Okay, that's different. Anyway, yeah, look, we're going to give this a try right now. That's like, it's so cliche, but it's hilarious. I think it's kind of funny. Do it. That's always a good idea, right? Exactly. Oh, I know. Seriously, we have to set limits ourselves because we'll go to our local sort of supermarket liquor in Newburgh, and you could go for days in there, and half of this joint is like all wine. You want to start like stocking up on your French, your Chilean, your Argentine, your South African, your Australian. You just go on and on and on. Oh, California wine? Yeah, it's like go on and on and on. Box wine? Got it too. It's nuts. And then the rest of it's liquor. And there's some serious high-end stuff, and then just a lot of really great workman liquor. And the workman's like liquor, like this Bruegel that I just used, for very good prices. And you're like, oh, gee, I need to stock this, that. And next thing you know, it's like $200. And it's easy to do. But if you want to stock a bar properly and have choices for people, and if you want to feature like 2 or 3 things that you make, you got to have the product. What can I say? It's funny. Hilarious. Okay, I need some of the spray here, which I frequently use on the air because Pardon me. I'm gonna kneel down here. Oh, I should have kept this over here. But definitely. Speaking of working out the old sacro. Oh. Okay. The thing about using all of these bottles of liqueurs and even the liquors is that they leak, or they drip rather, and they're sticky. They're sticky. So you got to keep your hand on that. I frequently end a broadcast here and take bottles into the kitchen and just wash them and just let them sit and dry. I tell you. Special orders don't upset us. Actually, that's a good thing to note about liquor stores is that they usually can order product in, and your better stores are very interested in doing that. Same liquor store that I was talking about. Some years back, we were looking for one kind of, one brand of liqueur, and we were looking for one particular product. Pardon me. Jeez. Gassy tonight, not particularly surprised. One particular product in their line that we had actually tasted at a bar, which was a banana liqueur. And this bar was making one particular drink that had the banana flavor. They said, we tried them all. This is the only one that was any good. The rest of them were real fake, you know. It tasted like Laffy Taffy. And so we said, oh, we'll check that out, see if we can get it. We try our local, they don't have it. So we call up this other place. They said, we'll see if we can get it. We'll give you a call. They could get it. Next thing we know, they're carrying it, and then they start carrying the line, and that was Giffard. And we've been using that since. And if you're looking for a good banana, Banana do Brazil is excellent. Tastes like bananas. It's like made from bananas, tastes like bananas. It's not coming out of, not coming out of a Florence flask in the lab. Nothing wrong with that. It was a real extract, but who knows, right? So I'm going to move this around a bit because I need a flatter coaster. The Polynesian, that'll do. Thank you so much. How nice. And move some of these things around because it is getting a little sticky around here. Here we go. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Yeah, it can be tough. When you take a look at liquor laws in 50 states, what you have is 50 sets of crazy. In New York State, there's this weird distribution channel with about 3 different levels. You can do this here, you can't do that there. We can get beer in supermarkets, but not wine. So if you see wine in a supermarket, it's a wine product, meaning it's like Boone's. It's like, it's wine with juice. And it's like, yeah, I just wanted a $10 bottle of Shiraz. What happened there? You know, you got to go over to the liquor store. Liquor store has the wine. Or like if you have a dedicated wine store, there are certainly such things. And it's like, yeah, we just do wine, and they do all the wines. And then when you're in the liquor store, it's like, well, okay, so I want a bottle of gin. I'd like to buy a bottle of tonic. No, you got to go to the grocery store for the bottle of tonic. Oh, okay. Or like, you know, oh, I'd like a lime with that. Well, we can't sell produce. Well, I'd like, I can buy, I got a great bottle of rye, and I got a great bottle of sweet vermouth, and I'd like to buy the bottle of bitters to make a Manhattan. You can't buy the bitters in the the liquor store. Like, it just drives you insane. The levels that you have to go to. The bitters are higher proof than the booze. Why the hell can't we sell those? And there's just 50 levels of crazy. One of these days, perhaps this country will get it right, except that it tried and it failed miserably and said, it's up to you, New York, and give it back to all of us. Fill in the name of your state. You know, suddenly you're dealing with it. And some of these states were dry until, like, you know, real late in the game. Some of these counties are still dry. Can't figure it out. Crazy. But you can always ask and see who can do what. There are crazy things with distribution of specific products in our area. We've discussed this a number of times. I can get this from here, but not there. I mean, they're separated by about 15 miles. Who knows? Different distributor. Craze. Yeah, and it's weird, like, who's got a lock on stuff. Walmart spends a lot of time actually getting specific prices on specific things. That's how they can guarantee prices. Hey, good. It's no different than what Sears used to do. They would go to their suppliers and say, I need a better price. We're selling, like, 5 million of these things. So there you go. Benefits you. But if you're trying to get something in your specific store, that could be tough. The one thing that might have improved is the bitters scenario. It's suddenly a lot different than it used to be. You used to get one kind. I had my hand on it before. It was the Angostura. It wasn't even this one. But then Mango came out with the orange too. You couldn't get orange. Nobody had orange. It's still being made. Now you walk into a Walmart, you can find like 3 kinds of mango, and then you can probably find Peychaud's. That used to be completely impossible outside of New Orleans, and probably a couple others. And I think that's a big difference. It's sort of like a recognition that people do this and they will need the tools. And what's Walmart going to do? Say, no, we're not going to sell that? Sure, we'll sell that. Target will sell that. Why not? There you go. Obviously, you need to go to a specialty store to get the really detailed ingredients. Whatever, that all works, you know. You want a bag of charcoal, you can buy from anywhere. You want a very specific grill, you might have to go to the place that does the magic grills. So there you go. Oh, you can buy in liquor stores. Okay, good. So good. See, things changed. Somebody woke up. Hey, John! Yeah, I had this stuff. Now she's got it. Big fun, huh? Blah. Well, you know, here's the thing, Eric. The large retailers have been there for a long time. And if we're to actually contemplate that, like the big names these days, like they run small businesses out of business, I think that they will apply their purchasing muscle and get very specific prices out of suppliers. Now, if that's sort of a muscling tactic, and we've seen that before historically, and in some cases that's seen as a bit monopolistic, and in some cases the government will step in and actually say you've got a problem with your practice. We'll see how that goes. But if you're just sort of setting prices because that's where you want them, and your suppliers agree, then away you go. Does that mean that there's no space? If your Walmart in your town can actually sell wine, is there no space for wine stores? And I think Walmart's not going to sell everything. They got limited space on those shelves still. How many products they got to carry? We still need a specialty wine store that's going to do different things. It's going to do like a different level of stuff. It's going to be a lot more curated. And there's your magic word right there. I think there's room for all. You know, if I need something like real fast and hard, I got a great price on propane one day at Walmart. It was a pain in the night to get. Would have been easier to just go to the local store, but I wanted to get my discount. And since I don't get one anymore, I'm probably not going back. Bitters and hard ciders. Excellent. There probably is an app for that, as a matter of fact. And I remember who had the great quote on this. That was Dr. Karuba himself, Jeff Westlake, who we'll probably see next week, but we'll have to see. Who was instrumental in tiki-fying his local joint. Oh yeah, and boy, is their food unbelievable. Yeah, that's in Bethesda. Wow, Fung Lin, worth your time if you're like around DC, if you're in the suburban areas, like around the big city. That is very cool. And he had a great quote at one point about liquors and liquor stores. He's like, you can get a great price on many products. That's not how I put it. I'm getting it backwards. You can find what you're looking for, but you've got to know your prices. Because one place will have it for $5 more, and the other place will be $3 less. And it's like, if you know what is here and there, then you're in good shape. It's like you do need a little notebook. I was tracking this for a while, and then I just kind of gave up because I said I kind of know, and we only go to two places. We know what's what. Hey, Peter, thank you so much for stopping by for, almost 90 minutes here. How about that? Pardon me. Clearly, I need a little more of this business here. Cold medicine. That is actually doing some good, and it's got a bit of a different flavor. I'm getting that little tang off of the Dole Whip on the front of that. If this is blasphemous to the Mai Tai makers out there, I'm like, yeah, whatever. You make an excellent Mai Tai too, sir. What can I say? We all do. We all know how to make it by this time. And you use quality products and fresh juices, excellent syrups and liqueurs. You can't go wrong. The whole point of this aspect of the show is that all the things that we do, you can do too. You can do this at home. You can make all these parts. You can find all these parts. I can't make rum, but I can make the syrups. We've made liqueur because you can infuse things. We can't distill because it's against the law, but we can brew. So yeah, we do a lot of things. You know, I don't brew a lot of beer these days. I have done it in the past. It's been good product. Some of you chiming in still brew beer, and it sounds really good. And I gotta stop by sometime. But we'll see about that, eh? Okay, no, that's really nice. The friends discount. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, I mean, the thing about supplies and sourcing is a really big word around these parts here. You just got to know where to find it. And there was a period of time where it was great to be in and around a big city. The one that I spent most time is New York, because there was a place for that. There was a district for that. There was like a whole block that was dedicated to one thing. And if you wanted it, you went there and just like checked every store until you found what you were looking for, and away you went. Back in the 20s through the 60s, if you were like a ham radio guy, you went down to it's not Park Row, but it's close. What was called Radio Row. It was just a lineup of stores, and you just went in, and it's like, I need the following to build my thing, you know. And the guy's like, I can give you 4 things, but you know the 5th thing is go next door, and we do that. Boom, boom, boom. I've read about this, never experienced it. I've seen the remnants of Radio Row. That used to be Canal Street. There used to be some great surplus stores. Those are now all gone too and moved around. There's one joint left that dates from back in the day. It's moved a couple of times, currently in the Bronx. Amazing to be in that place. Very cool. But you used to be able to go, and there was the place where, you know, Garment District you've heard of. There used to be a whole row of stores that just did zippers. The factories that made zippers. It's crazy. There's an area where you can go and you can basically get buttons, and there's 5 stores, and they sell buttons. You know, buttons, shirt buttons. Crazy, crazy kind of stuff. All this stuff that comes from China and Japan and Korea and etc. And they just sell this stuff. I actually pass one on the way to the office these days. So if she's making something, she's like, I need, I know where to go. Pardon me. Oh, pretty fun. Well, you know, it's in terms of the ancient liquors, l'Ancien Régime, we have some in this house. We have some Armagnac from the year, I don't know. But if I were to put a year on it, probably early 1950s. This was an old bottle when my father picked it up. And we were living in a big house in Rye, New York, and the owners of this house, who owned, I believe they owned Bloomingdale's at the time, actually said, we need to get rid of some bottles, so take whatever you like. So he grabbed a bottle of sweet vermouth, which I still have, and it's totally shot to hell a long time. But the Armagnac. And actually, that's okay. You can drink that, and it's pretty good. It's not a brand that anybody knows. I don't think it's any big deal, but it's got sentimental value. The thing about the old Bacardi is if you have like the light product, it's good light rum. And I don't know if anybody's going to, like, you know, crawl away home about it. If you had the aged product, that'd be pretty interesting. Be pretty fascinating. The post-Castro product is actually just been rebranded because the same factory was nationalized, and now it's Havana Club. And that is a co-brand with, I believe, Pernod Ricard, and they make excellent product. You can get it in Europe, you can get it in Canada, you can get it in Mexico. A lot of places, if they're going to be like mixing up, they would probably just be using it because it's readily available. If you go to Mexico or Canada, preferably Mexico for price reasons, then you can get a bottle of it, and you can probably take it back. How do I know this? I'm just saying they're probably not going to bother you about it. Watch out for cigars. And I will tell you, having tried some of the cigars, not worth your time. But the current product coming out of Cuba is actually good stuff. I would say the light product is great for daiquiris, but really, 3-year, 5-year, 7-year, now you're talking. That's 7 años. 7 años. That's the stuff. That's a nice product. Usually available for an excellent price in Mexico. So, tax stamps bottles are a lot of fun. We had a friend come to a party once and hand me a tax stamp bottle of Bacardi, which had to be from the 70s. I was like, oh wow, that was hilarious. We drank it, so we don't have it anymore. The clear Bacardi is actually an excellent product. Always has been, but honestly, it's a good well liquor as far as we use it around here. So okay, so the thing about Cuban cigars, I can expostulate on that for a couple of minutes, not for very long, because I've enjoyed a few cigars in my time. I don't actually advocate tobacco smoking in general because the effects are obvious, but I found that the occasional stogue has not really done me any harm. I know people who do them regularly and they smell like a lot of tobacco. But if you're talking about I'd like to enjoy a nice stick, the Cuban thing was a thing back in the day because the climate in Cuba is excellent for growing filler tobacco. The filler of the cigar is excellent. It's a very good thing. And it was one of the primary places where like really good stoves used to come out. The wrapper, excellent climate is Connecticut. Connecticut wrapper is still used. It's kind of crazy, but yeah, go in that direction and boom. So that's the thing, and for a long time that was the standard. And then when the whole revolution hits, and then the supply is kind of whatnot, then there's like this whole big thing about contraband, and well, we all know the good cigars come from there. Yeah, well, what happened was like a lot of people left Cuba, and where'd they go? Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Mexico even. They went to a lot of surrounding areas, which also had very good climate for growing tobacco. Guess what? I've had a fair number of sticks in my day that came from, say, Dominican, and were really good. And the really important thing was it was nice and fresh, and it was still kind of like moist. You've got to get them with in the plastic, or just like you just bought it that day, so it's humidified and it's ready to go, and it will light nicely and burn well. Pardon me. Got a bit of a tickle tonight. Pardon me. And I've also had some Cuban product in Mexico, which was really dry and had terrible flavor. And I can't even guarantee it was Cuban. I think there's a hell lot of contraband happening on that, even in Cuba. So how do you even get a good Cuban cigar anymore? I don't even know if you can. And maybe you just like forget the whole contraband thing and just go with a product from somewhere else. And you go with a good name like Cinco Vegas. I'm trying to think who else does. Romeo y Julieta was a nice cigar that I tried years ago. And stuff like that there. As far as Cuban rum goes, the product is good. I don't think it's better than a lot of areas that you can get rum from these days. I think they're on par. So it's not worth busting your hump to get it. If you happen to be at a place that has it, the price is right, go to town. The aged product is very good. The white product is a clear rum. It's not that spectacular. There's no magic in white rum. It just makes good daiquiri. And I happen to enjoy a good daiquiri around these parts, sure. I happen to enjoy a Hemoi daiquiri around these parts, sure. But sometimes in the mood for something else. Sometimes I'm being exhorted to tell the custom story. So take a little more draft of the old whip tie. Nicaraguan cigars sound like a good idea. They got a good climate for it, they can do it. They probably source their wrapper from one place. They actually make the filler there. If you've got professionals rolling cigars, typically roll by hand these days, still, then you'll get some nice sticks. And then you wrap it properly, it'll burn well, and it won't be a real pain. I mean, I've seen people have a lot of trouble with stoves too. Oh, I remember actually bringing some back from Mexico at one point to some folks at work, and they said, "Oh, we had a good party on those." So I guess they got some good Cubans. I don't know. It's possible to still get some good product. You can probably get really good Cuban cigars in, say, London, which has always had a good relationship with these things. Anyway, so the custom story was probably, when is this? Got to be circa 2012 or something. We happen to be going to Mexico. We happen to be seeing our friend Matt, aforementioned Matt. He was a heavy cigar smoker at the time. And I said, well, we're going to Mexico. You want some Cubans? He said, you want some Cubanos? He said, yeah, sure. I said, oh, here, yeah, I have a portable humidor. So he hands me this little case the size of like a hardback book. Great, super. It'll get them back to you in better shape. Go to Mexico, find a place. The prices are outrageous. I'm like, oh, this is stupid. But I bought them a couple of stoves, put them in the humidor, put them in the luggage. While I'm there, I realized that we happen to know a lot of people who are cigar smokers, and they have all these Te Amos that are flavored. I'm like, oh. So I bought like 5 or 6 packs of the Te Amos. They're really cheap. Throw them in the luggage, boom. We took a red eye. We get back to the States. We are getting into costumes at 6 in the damn morning. Guys ask me, line up of questions, blah, 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 blah. You do this, you do this, you buy this, you buy this. Did you buy any liquor? Yes. Did you buy any tobacco products? Yes. Da, da, da. And he says, okay, yeah, go to this line. Now, I'm looking exactly like I do now. Hair was probably like slightly tousled or whatnot, but it doesn't look much different. More or less the same hat. Probably had fewer, a little less in the way of decor on it. But the thing about the decor is you try to go through a metal detector with this, big trouble. So I do. I mean, my hat's my hat. But we got shunted to the rubber glove line. So gal takes the suitcase, examines it, and says, "Open it up." Okay. So I open it up. She says, "You have tobacco products?" Yes. "Where are they?" All right. So I open up. I find the humidor, and she says, "Open it up." I pop it open. She's staring at 2 cigars. And she does this for about 60 seconds. And says, "Okay, you can close it back up." I said, "You have other tobacco products?" "Yes." "Where are they?" So I pull them out. I'm like, "I have these Te Amos." She says, "Okay, you can close this all up. You're free to go." And I was like, "I have some liquor too." "That's okay." So I think the message there was pretty clear. If you're going to try to get a couple of case lots of El Primo Cubanos into the country, they're going to give you they're going to say, "Yeah, you got to step aside, and we're going to talk to you for 6 hours." But if you got a couple of sticks, it looks like, what the hell is your problem? Why are you wasting my time at 6 in the morning at Newark? And the liquor came right through. You want to buy Havana Club? Go and buy it and take it back in the States. These days, what is the deal? I don't even know. Again, 70-year-old Havana, good product. Recommend it. Do I have some over there? Oh, I don't know. Maybe. One of these days, I might be persuaded to have a little on the air. Would make a good Mai Tai. When we're in Mexico with the folks, that's frequently what we use. Anyway, Hilaria. Oh, the China Club. Oh, wow. You got to know your sources. You got to know your places. You can certainly find that certain sources can get you products that you're not really supposed to have, and sometimes it's just a question of friends will be able to facilitate. There you go. Hello, Gene. Thunderstorm to Cape Cod. Oh man. Oh, wow. I think you got what we had earlier. I just moved on. It was going all day here, off and on, off and on, but it was going pretty heavy when it was on. I suppose it gets a lot of junk out of the sky, and in the past week, we've had a lot of junk in the skies. Oh, man. Oh, baby. It was heavy. In Cape Cod, you saw it. I mean, it was all over. Cleared up. I think we're going to see a little more of that, and we're going to see more of that in the future because this is Soylent Green reality. I hate to be a real downer on a night like tonight. This is a great broadcast, but that's what you got to deal with. I mean, and you can, there's ways to do it. Cigar and whiskey. That's the thing, on occasion I'm good with it. I'd never do it in the house. This room would be great for it. It would smell like an old Chinese restaurant. It would be horrible. Forget it. I'll just be out back with the chimenea, everything's smoky anyway. Light your cigar right there. Enjoy. Have a little bit of something. Have a cigar. It's a good thing, On occasion, I do that. I do not do that very often these days. So, Oh, salt. Well, salt is a basic flavor on the tongue. And some of our correspondents here happen to be very interested in salt. And it is, you need to have it to punch certain foods. Like I will not do like a baked potato without, or popcorn. It was just cardboard otherwise. You have to have the salt. That's not what watching your sodium intake is all about. Watching it is like watch your labels, which products throw a ton of salt at it to make it taste like something. Then you're getting way too much because of all the processed food. Got to be careful with that. But if you're cooking, make sure you salt. Professional chefs would say, does it taste salty? Keep going. So, MSG, all like, some people can't do that at all. I appear to be able to stand it. It is the fifth flavor, or is that the sixth flavor? Sixth flavor. Anyway, couldn't get my thumb out. Umami is actually very important. It's sort of like a flavor that you get from cooking meat. So it's to add that as a specific flavor just punches up the flavor of the things you're having. So it's kind of important. As a chemical additive, some people are extremely sensitive to it, but if you're not, oh well, it's just another flavor. Again, monosodium glutamate punches up the sodium content. Got to watch out for that. I think the question is really like, what's in your foods? What's going on? Sunday I was talking to a gent who was saying, oh, I was having trouble losing weight. My son said, oh, cut out the sugar, Dad. Lost 18 pounds. I'm like, where was the sugar? In your coffee? You can probably do without the sugar, So if it's in your cakes and whatnot, then you got to watch that stuff anyway. And I really only put it in the tea. I don't put it in the coffee these days. So, oh yeah, chicanure. Oh yes, that's right. I've seen pictures. Josie would have a problem with that, and should too. She's there to warn you. It's sort of like the canary in the coal mine. Don't smoke, you idiot. But I, for instance, don't smoke cigarettes. I think that's pretty hideous, and I don't know who would these days, but people do. But the occasional stove, whatever, will not do it in somebody's house, and it will not do it like walking down the street in public. That's kind of obnoxious. Out back, outside, everything fine. And when you're done, everything smells like smoke. It's very true. Not that I don't go out and smoke things like mad. Yeah, I'll get a good fire going and then like put on the ribs or the fish or something. Yeah, it's all about the sabor, baby. You got to get that going. And there's a lot of that going on. Smoke is very important. You can buy smoke in a bottle. If I could buy smoke in a bottle, and its flavor. It's all about the flavor. Yeah, big tobacco also puts stuff in their cigarettes to make them burn, and there are all sorts of additives you don't know about, and that kind of helps them along with the practice. And they're not required to label. It's not a food product. Although I seem to recall that Frank Zappa considered cigarettes to be a food product, not a drug. That's how he got around the whole thing. Dead of cancer. So there you go. I do appreciate his work. Pardon me while these things happen. But and pardon me, I think I ate some soup earlier that was really, really rich. And I think it's repeating on me now. And I was so stuffed. I was like, I can't even touch a bite before I go live. I really should put down something to help soak it all up. This is very wise. And it's just like, can't do it. And I think the mechanism is still being reset. So now it's just kind of like, give me trouble. So hate to make a lot of noise on here, folks. We're not here for that. We're here to have a little discussion about music and boozes and sometimes a little tobacco, But okay, thank you, Lisa. It's awesome to see you. Thank you so much for the wishes. I am on the mend. Kelly will be in no time. I think she's already doing better. She's been chiming in from time to time on this very broadcast, proving that there's nothing wrong with her mind and her index finger. So I'm talking about the phone. So hilarious. Oh yeah, salt. Well, salt is if you put it on yourself, you're not putting on nearly as much as what they're talking about. What they're talking about is how much is in that box of stuff that you made. Do you have like a box of rice mix that says fill in the blank, one of the big names? How much sodium is in there? And the mix is going to put in enough to make it taste good to their taste, but it's probably a lot. And then that other thing you make, and whatnot, and it's like that seasoning you put on the chicken, etc. That ends up adding up. And that's it. That's what it's all about. It's all the processed foods. And with the foods that are not particularly salty, they throw in too much sugar. It's kind of like, everyone has a sweet tooth. I'm like, it's way too bleep sweet. Take it out. You take it down, and suddenly it's like, this is a much better product. This is a fairly sweet drink that is very balanced with the sour that's in there. So it's good. I kicked it up a bit with the the whip. So it's a little sweeter than it should be, but I added a little more of the sour to begin with, you recall. Mmm, good stuff. No mentions at all about edibles. Around this state, they're legal. So if they're not in your state, then I won't mention them. I don't know if they are yet. However, I know your state, and I don't think it's long. We have interesting things like surrounding states will have like legality, but it's not quite, or you can't buy it places. I'm like, if it's illegal, but you can't buy it, it's still a bootleg product. Anyway, and as far as that sort of stuff goes, whatever. I have this in my left hand, and if you have that in your right hand, what's the difference, really? The chances of you actually doing something silly on that product are extremely remote. The chances of somebody out there having a few of these and going for a drive are more substantial. I wouldn't. I'm in for the evening. I'm not going bloody well anywhere. I'm in the best place in the world. So it reminds me of our friends, the Desmonds, who built this huge tiki bar in the basement of the house they bought. And it's just like, I just wanted a place that I don't have to leave. I'm like, you're right. You're right. I basically don't want to leave here, except that I have my own bar to get back to. So that's the awesome thing. Make your space incredible. And you're good. You're good. You can make all of these things. Every single thing in this book here. Recommend the old Sip and Safari, although there are subsequent journals from Mr. Berry these days. They're using zombie makeup. That will give you even more information. He reveals all. That's how to do it. Some of these ingredients are a little obscure. These days, not too many are anymore. You can find this stuff. You can make this stuff. Pardon me. The funny thing about the edible products, pardon, I'm making a lot of noise tonight. Funny about the edible products that I've had more than a few people say, oh, it makes me goofy. Or I just start saying stupid things. That's a question of capacity and like dosage and stuff like that there. I mean, one of these things, I'm good. If I have 3 of these on the air, then it's like blah, blah, blah time. You notice I don't do that? This is not one of those shows where you can make fun of the drunks. That's not what we do here. We are social drinkers, and I believe our best compliment was that we drink like Larry and Louise Tate. I love that. And, you know, they probably drank 4 martinis. Well, we don't do that either. But one is very civilized, you know. I need to probably dial it back. I kind of dialed up by going from a fizzy drink into like a straight up tropical. And I'm kind of done after this too. I maybe have something, I don't know. But it's not that kind of show either. So, Oklahoma, where it always goes. Well, we have correspondents here who actually hail from Oklahoma, who remember when it didn't always go. Oh, remember when suddenly things became legal again. Well, that was kind of funny. So Eric doesn't need the substance. You can save yourself a hell of a lot of U.S. cash right now. Oh, and using stevia. I have a friend who actually uses the stevia sodas. Are they just called stevia? I forget what the brand is that has it. And oh, Zevia. Yes, Zevia has the stevia. I've tried them. Actually, the balance is very good on those. So that's definitely worth trying there. And you know, if you use a particular sweetener that works, there you go. I believe that Kelly's grandmother used the pink stuff in her coffee until she was gone. And people were like, why are you still using the stuff that tastes like chemicals? Oh, I'm used to it. That's it. You know, you're used to what you're used to. I was talking to a gal at work who was like a big Diet Coke addict. And I said, have you tried the Coke Zero? She says, yeah, I don't like it. Okay, well, I mean, I think the Zero has a little more flavor in it. But if you've been drinking that stuff for years, that's the thing about it. That's why I make the Mai Tai the way I make it. Although I do tend to mess with it, because this is the balanced drink. It's the fun thing. Bingo. It's all about the enjoyment of the food and drink products within this sphere. Within this is all about the decor you can do. You ought to have seen this place before this was here. But I can describe it. It was white walls, windows, because there's 2 windows behind me, and the floor was battleship gray. I believe that was the cheap price down at the hardware store, and Stanley got it in 1952 and painted this thing Battleship Gray. And it stood there ever since. And if you pull up this floor, it's still Battleship Gray because we did not paint. In fact, I can see some over there. It's great. We put down, she actually stenciled a little bit of Tapa on top of it, just so it wasn't so dire. And this, I think there was a lawnmower in here. I was like, what the hell? This was just some sort of dire storage space. Had to do something. It's a Florida room. I have access to the outside here. I have these louver windows. It's marvelous when it gets hot. It's very cool tonight, and I'm very comfortable. I'm probably done with this room when I'm done with the broadcast, but it's marvelous. And I gotta say that if you're gonna have a room like this, decor. Go crazy. But whatever the hell you want to throw up on here, throw up on the walls. I'm not going to say throw up in terms of throw up because I've done enough of that for the past several days. So that's the funny part of the funny part, yeah. But yeah, all this stuff, all the decor, please. If you have mugs, put them on display. They're decorative. That's fun. Stevie's worth trying. You can get it at Walmart, aforementioned Walmart. Your grocery has packets of it. You can find a lot of products flavored with it. It's a plant-based product, so it doesn't come from a lab, although it's obviously a processed product. And I think that the sweet profile on it is pretty good, so worth trying. Ah, you mean brownies? Oh yes, I remember such things. I kind of remember, like, people I knew who used substances like that never did edibles. It was always smoking, and then in the UK, it was hashish. People using hashish. You didn't find that as much in the States at the time, although I have known people here who have actually used such product. And usually what you had to do is kind of like crunch it up a little bit and put it into a cigarette. So now you're smoking tobacco. There you go. There's a whole thing. I think that for a lot of people, the little bear that's made out of gelatin substance is probably a better idea. Hey, Nina! Good to see ya. You got ripped off the other day when Marty came by and you didn't get a drink. But, you know, you need to stop by again and take advantage of because we'd love to have you. Yeah, you know, if you're making products yourself, and you're comparing it to commercial products, frequently you will use less in the way of certain ingredients like sugar and salt. And you need to use some to make the chocolate chip cookies taste like. But if you cut back, they're probably great. They're probably great. Like you get back into that like sour sweet balance, that bitter salt, that salty sweet balance, and you nail it. That's the thing. Vanilla, caramel, other flavors. I'm a big fan of pure extracts. Like when I make the horchata, that's got almond extract, vanilla extract we get from Mexico. It's excellent. Orange flower water is actually an extract. I wouldn't do like an imitation. It would be too one note, you know. No dice. Ah, yes. There's a funny thing. There's a funny thing. Yeah, pretty sneaky. But the man is name checking it. You see, now you need to make her a shrunken skull right now because she knows. She knows what it was. I could have had one, but I was kind of thinking of the whip tie because I happen to have the Dole Whip. And we're going to Ohana, and we will be at the lake, and there is a place that is proximate, maybe, jeez, it's all of like 2 or 3 miles north of, that's right next to, right on top of the Six Flags, which has Dole Whip. That's Martha's Dandy Cream. So all of you habitués of Ohana who are going to be there, who have never tried Martha's, hop in the car, hop up Canada Street, just go up towards past Walmart, and go to Great Adventure. You'll find Martha's, and they are this great 1940s ice cream stand, and they do Dole Whip, and you got to check which day they're doing which flavors, but you can get the classic pineapple. It's awesome. I'm very fond of the mango Dole Whip. Oh, wow. Wish I had some right now. But give me a week. We'll be there. We'll be there. But definitely. Well, we've been going for almost 2 hours. That is, I've been going for almost 2 hours. That is, all of us have been going for 2 hours. And I've been going solo. And Okay. I might be getting to the point where I probably should cash it in. But I usually start this intro just so that people can unwind a little bit and go. Because we could talk for a very long time here. I could talk for a long time. And tomorrow I'd be hoarse. But it's been fabulous to do this solo when I have to. It has been unfortunate that my partner has been down for the count because it's only 50% is fun. But I will deal with 50% because you deserve a good show on a Wednesday. I'd like to be able to pull out a few fun things. The whip tie. Who's going to make this for you? You got to have a Dole Whip. And other ideas. Oh, UFO hotspot. That sounds like fun. Haha. Definitely. Excellent, excellent. Well, Daniel, we will absolutely be seeing you because we know you'll be there. And I'm going to cross fingers, everybody who is traveling and doing whatnot, that your travel connections do what they're supposed to and do not bollocks you up, because I know that they do from time to time. Boy! If you're driving, watch out on the highways. If you're flying, good karma, good flyma. And wherever you go with those things, watch out for viruses and stuff, and whatever food you eat, because something knocked me out this week, and that's knocking her out. And take care of yourself. Eat well. You'll probably do fine. Moderation. Look at you there, but definitely. But good speed to take you north, or west, or east as you go, because we got to see you at the lake. Ha! We've been waiting. It's awesome. I'm hearing about these crazy ideas about these crawl rooms and all these people in costumes, and it's nuts. Well, I'm going to see you, bunch of nuts, on the ground. And I'm going to see the rest of you folks in 2 weeks. We will not be broadcasting from the actual event because the last few times we've done that, it's been trouble. Last year, it was just a pain. It was just crapping out on us the whole time. We said, you know what? Why are we wasting people's time with this poor, poor service? So you will see us in 2 weeks, potentially from this very spot as we do the decompression of being at the craziness, which is the whole event at the lake. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Thank you, Eric. Awesome. Thank you, Linda. We'll see you in a week and a couple of days. So Errol, you could. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. You know what? Thank you so much for watching as much as you could. You can watch the rebroadcast if you want to see the filler parts. A lot of talk about cigars and things, and we'll talk about booze because that's some of what we do. Yep, absolutely. Thank you so much, Lisa. I really appreciate that. Thank you for tuning in from various platforms. Yeah, I guess it's time to go. We do it because we can and because we know we can get you at various places. And if one of these decides to conk out, go to the other. One of these will work fine. I'm getting very good quality with the equipment, so I'm very happy with that. I'm happy with using a different microphone, and it did just fine. Folks, as always, no matter where you go, and I'm talking particularly to you Ohana travelers, but everybody else has to go to work and whatnot, no matter where you go, no matter what you do, this big thing is going to find a way to kick you in the butt. So you know what? Fight back. Take care. Any questions, drop them in the comments. Drop us a personal. We're going to send you a new email soon that tells you what's what. People who have been sponsoring us on Patreon, thank you so much. If you'd like to, the link's right there. As always, we'll see you soon. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. She usually pushes the button. Wait, where's the button? Wait, I gotta find the button. No, there's a button around here somewhere.